Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do all the problems on the final exam review. This video will be in pieces though, so that you can just watch one at a time. Of course, you can also always pause and work the problem yourself and then watch what you need to watch. So number one, write the equation of the circle in center radius form whose center is at the point 5, -3, and whose radius is 4. All right, so make sure that you are using pencil and paper for these. You want to write down the given information. 5, -3 is the center, and the radius is 4. Then you have to remember what the equation of a circle looks like. That is x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared, where the center is hk and the radius is r. So make sure you have that memorized. All right, so then it's just a matter of plugging them in. X minus 5 quantity squared plus y minus a -3 is going to be y plus 3. So it's always going to be the opposite. Quantity squared equals 4 squared, which is 16. All right, number 2, I'll keep it this way. Number 2 says to determine the center and radius of the circle, x squared plus 8x plus y squared minus 4y equals 29. All right, so again, you want to write that down. Number 2, x squared plus 8x plus y squared minus 4y equals 29. All right, to get the center and the radius, we have to get it in this form. So that means we have to complete the square. So you put your x squared terms together. Well, they are already. And then put a plus blank for completing the square. And then your y squared terms, your y terms, excuse me, y squared and y, go together. And then plus blank for completing the square there. And that equals 29. Plus blank, because whatever you add to one side, you have to add to the other. All right, what goes in the blank? Half of 8 is 4, squared is 16. That's because that gives you what's called a perfect square trinomial that then factors x plus 4 times x plus 4. Right? If you FOIL that out, sure enough, you get x squared plus 8x plus 16. So that is x plus 4 quantity squared. Over here, with the y's, half of -4 is -2, squared is 4. So then that trinomial factors y minus 2 times y minus 2. Again, you can see that if you FOIL this out, inside, outside, last, that's the trinomial you get. So that's y minus 2 quantity squared. Then over here, you have to add the same thing. We added a 16, we added a 4, so we need to add a 16 and a 4, and then add together what those numbers give you, 29 plus 16 plus 4. We can go 29 plus 20, which is 49, which is great, because that's r squared. So we have x plus 4 quantity squared plus y minus 2 quantity squared equals 49. So the center is the point, take the opposites of what's with the x and the y. -4, +2, because that's what's being subtracted from x and y, respectively. And then the radius is the square root of 49, which is 7. Next question. Oh, I lost it. Hang on. There we go. What is the domain in interval notation for the function f of x equals square root of 2x minus 1. All right, so again, I'm writing it down. Here we have a square root. Domain is what can x be? So the best way to answer that question is to think about what can't x be. And if you look at a square root, we don't want the function value to be imaginary. So we don't want 2x minus 1 to be negative. In other words, we want 2x minus 1 to be at least 0, 0 or greater, greater than or equal to 0. So then we can solve that inequality by adding 1 to both sides and dividing both sides by 2. x is greater than or equal to 1/2, and in interval notation, that is the interval from 1/2 to infinity. And we always put a parenthesis around infinity, and then we use either a parenthesis or bracket around the endpoint based on whether it's included or not. But greater than or equal, we do want to include where it's equal. And there's your domain. Number 4, what's the domain in interval notation for the function f of x equals x minus 1 over x plus 4? Okay, x minus 1 over x plus 4. Let's see now, for domain, you want to make sure that there's not 0 in the denominator, because you can't divide by 0. Dividing by 0 is undefined. There's no number for that. So we take what's in the denominator, and we say that cannot be equal to 0. So then x can't be negative 4. So if you look at that on a number line, that's everything except for negative 4. So negative 4 is not included, but it's everything to the right and everything to the left. So that's 2 intervals. So in interval notation, we write that as negative infinity up to negative 4, not including negative 4, parenthesis. And then a union symbol just hooks the 2 intervals together. It's kind of like set addition, the interval from negative 4 to infinity. So that's basically negative infinity to infinity with a break at negative 4.